Oh yeah, what's good, my friends? Welcome to the JRPG Report. This is episode 172. We've got a whole bunch of fun things to talk about this week, but the first piece of news, I can't tell if you're just a little, if I sound a little excited, as just about 2 hours ago, I logged into the Gamestop and was able to finally secure a PlayStation 5. It cost me a pretty penny with the bundle, but at this point, I don't care. I mean, I was going to pay $500 for a system no matter what. Might as well tack on a couple games, including my beloved Ratchet and Clank. So, early next week, I believe they should be getting here. I'll keep you guys posted. So by next podcast, I will have it. And of course, that means pretty soon we get to replay Final Fantasy VII Remake on there in the Yuffie side mission. And of course, Tales of Arise in September on my shiny new system. But that's not why you came here, to hear me brag about getting a PlayStation 5. Just for anyone out there who is looking for one, here's what you need to do right now. Pony up. It's going to cost you about $750, okay? So you need to have that ready, plus tax. I think about, well, whatever it is in your state, right? Go and join GameStop Pro Rewards members. It's $15 for a year. You get the digital mask, whatever, you get the discount. That's fine. That is the way to get into the early access. That's the only way to not have to play this insane game that's going on right now. If you want one right now, right? If you want one probably this year, this is the way to do it. They have several different bundle options, and it was the least stressful experience I've had. I've been stressing about this for far too long. That's how you do it. That's my pro tip of the day. But let's talk JRPGs. There was some fun things to chat about this week. I'm not going to repeat all the stuff I talked about last week with all the trails talk. In one sentence, it was all true. I didn't, cross-check every single word that I said, but as far as I know, everything as far as the dates and localizations and all that fun stuff, everything coming is still absolutely a thing. That's all good. We will rant about it a bit at the end of the podcast, but just if you want to know exactly what's going on, and you're like, what are you talking about? Well, go back and listen to last week's podcast. That's the easy way to know all the trails talk that was going on last time. Today, let's talk about Final Fantasies from the olden days, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. I'm going to say collection, but that's not really true because it's not a collection. The first 6 titles in the extremely long-running JRPG saga are getting pixel perfect remasters. We kind of talked about this a little while ago. There was even I don't know what Square Enix is doing, of they're posting videos and then taking them down and finally reposting. So that trailer for these first 6 games has finally made its way back on to, I guess, online, even though I was able to capture it and post it on the YouTube channel. It is finally up, so you can kind of get a glimpse about what they're talking about. On Twitter or on their website, RPG site has an excellent picture-by-picture comparison of all the different versions. I highly suggest you go check that out, as it really lays out, there's been several versions of these games over the year. If you go, all the way back to the NES, you had the PSP versions, the Game Boy Advance versions, the mobile versions, and now these. I've had several comments on the videos of, well, this doesn't really look that different. What's the idea? Okay, I said this before. This is to replace the mobile versions. And in fact, if you are wanting the mobile versions, well, they're gone. They're going to be, well, okay, let's see. In particular, 5 and 6 are going to be delisted on July the 27th. I don't know about the other ones. I guess they're on there for now, but I would dare say they will all be gone by that point and time. So that is the point. They are kind of trying to erase the memory and bad taste left in the mouth of those mobile versions and replacing them with much more accurate, not these weird reincarnation versions of them made for mobile devices. These are the way they were supposed to look. I like the way the graphics look on it. I would have preferred a different text box. So in particular, if you looked back at that RPG site article, the text boxes have gone through a bunch of different versions as well. I would have preferred maybe something more authentic looking. They did recreate that, and not necessarily for the better, I'm going to say. But yeah, as far as graphics go, I really do like the way they looked at these. All 6 titles have been fully remastered from their original version by pixel artist Kazuko Shibuya of Square Enix, who I didn't recognize the name off the top of my head, but he's worked on the Final Fantasy series since the first game. So the guy knows what he is doing. Oddly as well, there was a presentation video which was about 30 minutes long, talking with the stars of this series, the series creator, Sakaguchi, who's now with Mistwalker, composer Uematsu, now with Dog Ear, well, he's still with Square Enix, but Dog Ear Records, and Yoshinari Katase, who is still with Square Enix. They kind of shared their thoughts about the games and over the years, but that has been taken down, which I would love to have seen that, right? That sounds like a very interesting video. So these are all starting. The original announcement was going to be starting in July. Of course, these are coming to Steam and smartphone devices. Like I said, this is to replace the current smartphone abominations. It's probably the best word for it. They're throwing in the Steam versions. Why not consoles? I don't know. All right, I guess you can already get different versions already. I don't know. This is replacing mobile, and that's what I'm going to take it as. Maybe there's a console version down the road. We did get a final, well, not final, but word that the first 3 games will actually launch on July the 28th. You can check out their Steam pages right now. I believe it's on phone as well. I took the images that were up on those Steam pages, put into a little slideshow along with that announcement trailer. So if you were looking to see what these things look like, you can head over to our YouTube channel and do that. Let's see, pricing wise. So 1 and 2 are going for $11.99 each. If you pre-order them now, you get 20% off, which takes it down to $9.59. Final Fantasy 3 is a little bit more, $17.99, I do believe. This the article that I was reading actually had them all listed at $11.99 each, which is not correct. The third one's a little bit more. A discount brings it down to like $15. You can pre-order all 6 of them. I think the discount rate is $75, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't know, I think it's like $90 normally, which sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of content in there as well. So if it's worth it to you, well, then it's worth it to you. If it's not, then you're probably going to want to pass. The only thing I'll say, obviously, like I said, this is for mobile, but in particular, like Final Fantasy 3 on the DS, I felt was an amazing version of the game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I kind of wish there was more, and maybe this is coming at some point in time, a way to, kind of play that on the Switch. I don't know, maybe I'm completely off. Maybe there is, but I feel like that, especially with the added motion videos to it, really kept the feel to it, and I enjoyed playing through that one quite a bit. So, as they say on the Steam page itself, the original Final Fantasy comes to life with completely new graphics and audio as a 2D pixel remaster. Enjoy the timeless story told through charming retro graphics, all the magic of the original with improved ease of play. Of course, you get all the audio as well with it in recreated, beautiful. They say improved gameplay, including modernized user interface, auto battle options, and more. Dive into the world of the game with supplemental extras like the bestiary, illustration gallery, and music player. So you get all that with these versions as well. They did add, a few things to it. It's not just the game as usual, but that's the first three. They haven't said when 4, 5, and 6 are going to be taken or put onto the store. I would imagine August seems like a pretty decent time frame for that, and I don't know pricing, but if you say if you take the price of that whole bundle, I would dare say they're going to be closer to 20, if not a touch more than that. When it's all said and done, we'll wait and see. And as soon as I hear what those prices are going to be, I will pass that along to you guys as well. Got a fun little article here to share with you. In total, think about a number in your head. So going back to let's take the 5 core Persona titles, add in the special edition of like Persona 5 Royal, add in Persona 5 Strikers, add in Persona 4 Golden and its PC release. Add all those together. What number would you come up with? I don't know. I didn't know what it would be. I was going to probably guess 10 million, but if you add them all together, they are now at 15 million copies sold in the Persona series, and that is awesome. Well deserved for such a great franchise. In particular, Persona 5 Royal, 1.8 million. Strikers, done pretty well, 1.3 million. And the Persona 4 Golden PC release is at 900,000. So just a little short of a million. It'd be even higher if we put it on consoles. Still salty about that, James. God, you gotta let that go, man. This was financial results for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2021. So they said that sales expectations in the West sales have exceeded expectations in the West, which is always a good thing. That means they shall continue to support the Western market as they have been doing for quite a while. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where this series is going. I don't expect a Persona 6 announcement in the next year or so. I still believe that Alice is going to go with the that fantasy RPG that they've been working on for like forever. Pretty much as long as this podcast has been a thing, they've been talking about that. So if that is a thing, I would dare say it's coming next after, of course, Shin Megami Tensei 5 comes out for the Switch in November. Speaking of which, those daily videos have kept rolling out for Shin Megami Tensei 5. Let's see. Let's go back. Which ones have they talked about since last time? So that is going to be Feng Huang, I believe that's how you say its name. Inugame, Turdak, Fafnir, Mothman. I know how to say that one. And today was Lilum. So that's up to 15 of them total. You can check all those out on our YouTube channel if you're curious how these new and old monsters are shaping and looking in their new versions. There was an official English story, characters, and system trailer for the game that came out a few days ago. Of course, you can check that out on our YouTube channel. Let's say back in 1992, the very first Shin Megami Tensei title was released to the world. The dark narrative that delved into Antarctic. I don't know how to say that word. Antarctic themes, uncommon in games at the time, paired with the innovative battle system where players recruit demons and gods to fight alongside them, led the game in series to gain a cult following. The critically acclaimed Persona and Devil Summoner series all began from here. There's a word you've not heard in a while, Devil Summoner series. Now, in 2021, the newest installment of the series, Shin Megami Tensei 5, will deliver all new dynamic experience that fully utilizes high-quality graphics with a modern console, bringing the series, staying true to the series' roots. We talked a little bit about the story synopsis from before. The protagonist, the high school student who is in a tunnel that collapses, wakes up in a destroyed Tokyo, and kind of got that open world feel to it that you can go around and explore. The enemies are all over the place, and you can either run or choose to engage with them. They talked a little bit, showed off some of the new demons. They're going to be, well, some of them they've already shown off in the daily demon videos. Of course, there's turn-based battle returning to this game as well. You can recruit your demons through negotiations, which is always the part that I very much fail out in the Persona series. It's obviously, if you know the answers to the questions that they're wanting to hear, it's easy. But if you're just guessing, it's not as easy. In all the daily demon videos, you see Sophia, who is the master of the world of shadows, who creates strong demons in her realms, kind of like their version of the Velvet Room. They're just saying more details are going to be coming soon about the leveling up, and then there's choices that are going to be made. In the screenshot that accompanies this, that shows the main character with the phrase, "We have to help her," next to it. So kind of curious about what kind of choices are going to have to be made and how it will affect the story. In particular, they say that it will feature multiple endings. So I'm guessing that some of your choices may have some lasting implications for how things are going to turn out. It's a previous trailers and gameplay videos have already disclosed most of the details revealed. This include the press turn system and demon negotiations. These features will return, of course. Demon fusion is one of the larger aspects of the game. Players can fuse demons they have obtained to create more powerful and different elemental aligned demons. Players can consult with Sophia, a new non-player character, to fuse their demons. Now, they say lastly, the players will have a bevy of choices that will affect the ending they receive in the game. However, no further information about the gravity of choices players will make has yet to be revealed. I'm sure that's coming. They've got, 5 months until this game comes out. There's a lot I'm sure they would like to talk about, but multiple endings always kind of scares me in a way because, I fail a lot at getting the good ending. Didn't get that third semester in Persona 5 Royal. Yeah, it's a very salty show today. I don't know what's going on with that. It all revolves around Persona. That's the way it goes. But yeah, looking forward to that one coming out on November 12th in the West for the Nintendo Switch. If you're listening to this on release date, which is always on Thursdays, unless otherwise noted or life happens, which it happens, you might have been saying, well, James, last week you talked about your guest appearance on the Steam Machine podcast and you and Dalton talking about Dragon Quest XI. Man, I've been looking all over the internet and I haven't found it. That's because it's not there. You cannot find what is not there. Dalton messaged me a little bit later and said that was going to be a freestanding episode and that he had changed his release date. I guess it's going to be moving forward to Thursdays as well. So if you are listening to this podcast on its release date of Thursday, July the 1st, go check out your Steam Machine feed. See if that one has popped up yet or not. We had a fun little chat, I think about 40 minutes or so, all about him and his friends to kind of discuss the story and all the things going on. So we just talked about our favorite aspects of the game and looking back on it. I still haven't beaten it. I just got to pretty much the end, or not to spoil too much, but yeah, getting to the final castle. There's some things I got to wrap up beforehand, and I've got a few days because Ratchet is on its way and I must play. Let's talk. There was a new trailer that came out for Nier Reincarnation. That's the mobile offshoot of the Nier franchise. It's been out in Japan for a while. It will launch on July 28th in the West, according to Square Enix and developer Applebot. So Square's going to be hitting you hard on July 28th with the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters 1, 2, and 3, and now this for the App Store on iOS and Android via Google Play. Pre-registration is available now, and over 300,000 people have already pre-registered in the West. If you'd like to see that opening cinematic and release date reveal, you can do that on our YouTube channel. Opening movie is also available for Monarch over on the YouTube channel. Publisher Firyu and developer Lancars. They have released the opening movie featuring the theme song Nihil, sung by KAF, and written and composed and arranged by Iori Kanazaki. This game is in development for PS5, PS4, and Switch, coming out on October 14th in Japan and Asia, and sometime in early 2022 for North America and Europe. These are the fun folks that have kind of offshoot from Atlas. They worked on the early Persona titles, and they also, Firyu is the one behind the Caligula Effect duo of games. So you'll see those influences in the gameplay. Maybe not as much in the opening movie, but it is really incredible. Great music, great style to it. You will definitely want to check that out if you are curious about what's going on in that game. The Mana live stream that came out a few days ago, I forget exactly when that was. There was some information that popped up during it, celebrating 30 years of the Mana series. Let's see, let's go in. The big one, okay, so the big takeaway from it that we know nothing about is that there is a new Mana game for consoles in development. Let's see, his producer, Mashiro Oyamada, said, quote, "We wanted to announce it by running a cool trailer, but we're only at the start of the 30th anniversary. But we are, in fact, developing a new title. Please wait a little while longer until the proper announcement." Yeah, development still has a way to go. Development for consoles, so you hope you can look forward to it. That's it. That's what I hoped would come of this. It would have been nice to actually see it. But new game in the Mana, I guess, timeline or world, and using the Trials of Mana battle system seems to be the way to go. We'll see if it actually comes about or not, but that is it's good news to know that it's coming. There is a Legend of Mana, the Teardrop Crystal anime that has been announced. It is being produced by Warner Brothers Japan and animated by Graphinica in association with Yokohama Animation Lab. A release date was not announced. Quote, the series producer said, "When the animation project was first pitched to me, the remastering of Legend of Mana was not even in discussion." So he initially attended a meeting with deep thoughts and realized the need to create the game as soon as possible. So the rumor has it that's how the HD Remaster project began, was actually talking about this anime series. He says, "Fans of Legend of Mana, please be rest assured the people involved in the project still have the love of the series, just the same as back then when this was first discussed." So maybe they would have liked for it all come out at the same time, but that's not going to be the case. It's still coming. It was also announced that Trials of Mana is coming to mobile devices starting on July the 15th. I believe this is, I don't know if this is in just in Japan or not. Yeah, I believe this is the Japanese release for it. I don't know. Let's see if I can follow this here link, and it'll say, oh no, it's coming out. I think it's coming out worldwide. So it's got a price point of $23.99. I would say pony up a few bucks more and get the actual console version of it. Although there was some gameplay that was shown for it. I put that on the YouTube channel. It looks pretty good. Like, not perfect, but by mobile standards, looks pretty good, and kind of a just like a small step below like what the Switch version probably looks like. I played the demo for both Switch and PS4. PS4 ran so much better. That's what I've got it for, and that's probably going to happen next. I was originally planning to play Trials of Mana and live stream it after I got done with Dragon Quest XI. Obviously, Ratchet has thrown a Ratchet into those plans, but that'll probably be the next one that I choose to live stream over on our YouTube channel. Late nights usually get started around 9:30 if things are going well. If the kiddo, especially on summer schedule, has stayed up a little bit later, it can kind of drift into 10:30 range. But we have a fun time live streaming. Great JRPG titles over there. But yeah, if you are wanting to get this for your mobile device, you can, starting on July the 15th. One final announcement. A new Legend of Mana game is coming to mobile devices. Echoes of Mana has been announced for iOS and Android devices to release in 2022. What was it? I forget the actual name of it, but a bit like Tales of Crestoria, where you had all the members show up in it. This is kind of that idea. So you've got people from Secret of Mana, you've got people from Trials of Mana, Legend of Mana, Mana, people, characters everywhere. It will be a free-to-play title with in-app purchases in 2022 with support for English, Japanese, French, German, traditional Chinese, and Korean language options. I think there are two main new characters. They say it is an all-stars game featuring characters from it. Players can choose from two protagonists, Kilt the male and Kilt E. They literally just put an E at the end of the name, which is the female version. The world is set in a world where all has been lost. The protagonist, guided by the goddess, sets off on an adventure to various worlds of memories in search of the legendary sword to restore the world. All illustrations are original to the game. Original worlds will appear in addition to worlds from previous Mana games. And all characters from previous Mana games will be playable. So, I mean, it's free. It's a mobile title. It is what it is. In battle, you can form a party of 3 party members and freely switch between them in combat. While simple and easy to play, it aims to be a battle system worthy of the Mana series name. So there it is. I mean, there's one of these games for practically every series out there, so it was kind of expected that Mana was going to get in on it, as it is Square Enix. They do enjoy their mobile titles. Got a few more fun things to chat about here on episode 172. By the way, my name is James Fisher. If you'd like to, check these things out every day as news and comes out, you can follow us on Facebook. Give us, I guess you like us on Facebook and you follow us on Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as all the trailers that pop up during the week, gameplays, things, developer interviews, all that fun stuff we post over there. If you like what you're hearing and like what we're doing there, you can support this podcast either through the link, through the Anchor link that's in the notes down there if you just scroll down a little bit. We also have a Patreon page with different levels of support there as well, JRPG Report on Patreon. Or if you just want to send some cash, if you don't want to do the every month type deal, that's fine. We got a PayPal link there as well for James Fisher Productions. That would be greatly appreciated if you got some cash lying around. You're like, James has been doing this for 172 episodes now. Maybe I'll throw $1 his way. That would be perfectly acceptable. We talked a few episodes ago about Demon Gaze Extra. Well, its opening movie came out. You can check that out on YouTube. There were some additional images and screenshots. If you follow us on our social media channels, you can check those out. That is the game from Katakawa Games, the developer Cattle Call. This was a Vita game that came out a few years ago. This enhanced version is due out for PS4 and Switch on September 2nd in Japan. No information yet on a Western release, but I'd say it's probably coming. If you want a free mobile game to play today, Mitra Sphere. Its global edition co-op JRPG launches today on iOS and Android devices. I covered this a little while ago. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm going to download and give it a try later on. It's in with English voices. It's a art and systems inspired by classic JRPGs, but carries an emphasis on multiplayer cooperative play. There's a launch trailer on our YouTube channel if you would like to check it out. The gameplay uses a class system where player characters can swap between 5 classes freely. These include frontline damage dealers like the swordsman, who focuses on offense and single target melee damage. The defensive guardian, a shield-equipped warrior that protects the party. Rear line characters include the bow-wielding archer, an area of effect specialist mage, and the cleric, who can heal and revive fallen teammates. Players will challenge boss battles for loot and equipment at the highest levels to tackle ancient raids, which are large-scale battles involving many players. I don't know. We'll give it a try and see how it is. Not going to cost me anything. I'm not going to put any money into it, so we'll see how it is, and if it's worthy, I'll let you guys know. Speaking of making money from mobile games, Ni no Kuni Crossworlds, which is the mobile offshoot of that, has grossed over $100 million in its first 11 days of release. Of course, it's not even available in the West, so considering that is pretty good. So it doesn't reach this amount faster than Genshin Impact or Pokemon Go. When people wonder why developers are making mobile games and not focusing on consoles, I just told you why. Okay? I don't even know how good this game is. It looks pretty promising. It actually has some production value behind it, but it didn't cost them anything in terms of rolling out a physical product and then getting into people's hands. They've already got the product in their hand, and they press a button and it downloads, and then people just hand them money to play it. You can't fault these companies for making these games when in the past year, Genshin Impact and now Ni no Kuni Crossworlds have made $100 million for their companies. Grossed $100 million. And that's just in its first 11 days. And that's just in that part of the world. It's insane. And it's only going to get more and more prevalent. Mobile markets are different in the East. Everybody has them, and there's commutes, so people are always on their mobile devices. It's a little bit different, at least here in America, where we do it more as we stare at our phones for other reasons, right? Social media, oh my goodness. But I wouldn't mind playing this game. I do hope that it gets a worldwide release. They say there's plans to do it in the first half of 2022, but that's all that we know so far. But yeah, that's a big number in a short amount of time, to be sure. Tales of Arise. It got the second character trailer. It's time for Shion, the long-range gunslinger, who uses astral arts, letting her heal the party in between shots. This is an interesting trailer. It kind of shows her, I believe at the beginning of the game, she looks like she's a captive and in a cage, and somebody goes to touch her, and her little defensive shock ability goes off. We've seen that in a few different trailers. Definitely a curse. One of the captors calls it an amazing ability. She definitely disagrees, and kind of just gives a little bit of insight into the beginning of the game. I believe this is going to be a complex character. I also shared a 25-minute gameplay snippet from this that was showing it. I believe it was running on PC, but there was definitely like Xbox controller command, so it could have even been on Xbox One or Xbox Series. Looks phenomenal. I can't speak enough to how good this game looks and plays and feels like an enhanced Tales experience. So, as like a longtime Dragon Quest player, the leaps that this series has made, I loved 8. I feel like it kind of took a back step with 9. 10's online only. When you take that next one in 11, 11 took the series in every place I would have hoped for it to take it to. Tales looks like it's trying to do that. And I would invite you to go check out this trailer and that gameplay snippet to really see what this thing is going to look like. There was a developer message number 2 that actually just popped up literally as I was starting to record. So I'm going to download and put it on the channel if you'd like to hear from, it's got producer Tamazawa, director Kagawa, and I think and art director Amamoto. So there's I think it's about 4 minutes and it goes into it. I will post this story on our social media channels as well if you'd like to read that full transcript of that video, and maybe it goes into a little more detail in the words. But the game, it sold me from the first moment, but I believe I'll go on record and say I think this is going to be the best-selling Tales game of all time. Now I'm just putting it on the record, but right now I don't think there's any way that it won't be, short of catastrophic failure. But it looks like this is going to be the real deal, and I cannot wait until it finally pops out for everyone to enjoy on everything but Switch, really. So there you go. The last thing that we will talk about today, and I wanted to end it here and not talk about, like I said, at the beginning, everything was true about the Legend of Heroes, Trails into Reverie, the Naruto Biomeless Trails to Azure, and Trails from Zero. If you don't want to hear me rant, you can go ahead and cut it off. I understand. That's it. But I need to get this off my chest. So this has been discussed by a few people online. I've had some discussions with people, and they kind of all feel the same way. It's ridiculous. Yes, happy. It's coming. Fantastic. Thank goodness. I don't know if it's 100% on NIS America, but I don't know where else to shift the blame to because they're the ones handling the localization. Trails into Reverie is not coming this year. It's not coming next year, but it's not coming until 2023. This game came out last year in 2020. You're going to tell me we now have to wait 3 years for a game to get localized and make it over here. Yeah, I can find an example of that, maybe going back 30 years. Maybe, but I don't even think it was that bad then either. I find it completely unacceptable in terms of how long it's taking this company to localize its products. How is Nihon Falcom okay with this? You've now got the newest game, Chrono Kazeki, coming out in a few months in Japan. We're 2 games behind this series. And they could even have a third, another game out by the time this one makes it to the West. It's craziness. Now, why? They've not talked about it. I am firm in the belief that they are doing too much work. If you see a lot of games that are getting localized, they're the ones doing it. Now, let's look at their most recent game that they just localized. It came out 2 days ago, Disgaea 6. Did that take 3 years to make it out? No. It was about 6 or 7 months. 6 months. Now, that has a lot of text in it. That has a lot of voice acting in it. At the beginning of it, it was during a pandemic still going on, which in some places still is. But why did that game only take a little while? Now, yeah, Trails into Reverie is coming to a few different systems. It's not just for the Switch. But that doesn't take extra years to do. I I know people are frustrated with this. They have to be. And they're just doing too much. So, I mean, they just finished up that game, right? They're still, people are still waiting on Ys 9 to make its way to PC. It's not out yet. They're also handling like the Quigley Effect 2. It's supposed to come out in the fall, in addition to all these games. So that's bad enough as it is. Here's the kicker, though. With Trails from Zero coming the fall of next year, it should be the fall of this year. That's crazy. And then Azure coming to the West in 2023 as well. It's going to take them a year to get Trails from Zero to the West. But you're going to say, well, you know, James, there's a lot of text to translate. There's going to be voiceover work that has to be done. No, actually, there's not. They are actually in collaboration and using, it's an official partnership. They are using the GeoFront translation. It's done. Oh, but it's going to take a while to do voice acting. No, there's no English dub for this game. So what exactly takes a year to do? The game is done. The game's been out for years. Cloud Leopard Entertainment is now bringing it to the Asian markets. Why does NIS America need a year to get this game out? This should be out fall of this year. GeoFront just finished the translation for Azure. It's ready. It's done. There's no English dub for that. Why does that take an additional 2 years? I am beyond ticked off with NIS America. I've tried my best to kind of defend them in any way possible, but that's over. Like, they have got to either hire an immense amount more people or scale back on what they're trying to do, because in particular, what they're doing with Falcom's products is horrible. The timelines are horrible. We can't be that far behind. It's just not acceptable. And I don't know how we can fix this problem, but we're going to have to try. Anyway, that's all I got for this week. I'm going to wrap up this podcast. This has been 172. I will talk to you guys again next week. James Fisher for the JRPG Report. Until next time, guys, get back out there and level up.